everybody, this is Shawn Powell. I want to take a second and just give a quick review on USI Tech. I have been actually signed up with them for several months back. To be honest, like a lot of people, I didn't get Bitcoin, just hadn't wrapped my head around it yet. So USI Tech really didn't appeal to me at that time. I thought it looked like an okay site, but it didn't really grasp my attention to where I wanted to be really focusing my attention at it and building it. I was looking at, doing my own line businesses I was already in. Yet at the same time, I started watching some of the people that had were at the top of the leaderboards and other businesses, around the world, and I knew some of these people pretty well. Let me shut down my Facebook, y'all. It's gonna get killed if I don't. So anyhow, I know some of these people very well, and they wound up next thing I know, a few months later, they're posting some ridiculous amount of income. I've got friends personally making 60,000 plus a week inside of USI Tech. And really, I still don't think that grasped my attention as much as what Bitcoin did. So, what I want to do is I'm going to tell you what I found out. I've been focusing at USI Tech for a little over 2 weeks. Let you know where I'm at. I got 188. I wrote this stuff down. Got 188 BTC packages. I sponsored 63 at this time. Um, and majority of that has come in the last last week or so. Let's see, right here, November the 4th, the day's November the 6th. I sponsored 15 people, 16, 17 now. To be honest, I actually sponsored probably closer to about 20, 22 people in that time frame in about a day and a half or so. What it is they've updated USI Tech to a brand new site, and they had to migrate all the information. And these are a lot of stats, a lot of information. 300, I think at that time, 330,000 people were averaging about 5,000, pretty close to 5,000 new people a day. So there was a lot of migrating to be taking place. So at that time, I actually had some people that were signing up. I've never had a problem before, but during this time frame, they weren't getting verification emails. And I reached out to a couple of them. They reached back out to me and told me that they were using Gmail. So that was a little unusual. So, but with that being said, I decided to slow down for a little while. I didn't want a lot of my people going there and not being able to sign up. And I really felt like it was the migrating itself that was really putting everything behind. And to be honest, during this time frame, y'all, though I did keep growing, I have learned that if you've got somebody really excited about a business and they fall through a crack, and support is hammered so much anytime they got a brand new changes taking place from one thing to the other, because people will send a message over the most rinky-dink stuff you've ever seen in your life. And even though there's a lot of real problems there, there'll be one rinky-dink one. It takes just as much time for them to look at that, read it, and respond it, as opposed to getting to the real problems. So, in my opinion, you can wind up having someone who's excited, and then they wind up losing the enthusiasm because of the fact that they've ran into an issue and it's taken support a little while to catch up. And to be honest, there's no doubt in my mind that's probably what's taking place right now. So, just for a strategic viewpoint, I decided to wait a little bit before I started promoting again to make sure everything was up and good and going. Also, what they did is they took and archived the actual Facebook group because they were getting killed with people with these little nitpicky things. Now, I grant you, everything works fine for me. I watched it populate at the beginning. They only showed 4 people I sponsored, and then a few hours later, I'd go back and there was 12 people I sponsored, and then next thing you know, I had my entire team there. And the more and more I've looked at this, I just gave it a couple of days, sort of took a break with it. Is I've really starting to enjoy this new back office. Now, if you didn't know, you cannot show your back office in videos, on pictures, or anything like that. They and I think it's a smart decision, to be perfectly honest. It makes it a little bit tougher for us to show credibility, things of that nature. I've always been one of those people that I like to practice what I preach. I'm gonna go big in my business, and I'll show people. And in this case, I spent $10,400 in BTC packages before I ever sponsored my first person. I always believe if you go big in your business, that the chances of other people going big are way greater, much more chance of people going big in their business because you're leading by example. Okay, so to let you know, my second week in, I probably would have grown a lot more. if I hadn't called up at this right time of, this new sales, this new site coming up and stuff of that nature. But I think USI Tech has handled it very, very well. To be honest, I think if people would quit sending in, support tickets on, well, it doesn't show I've sponsored the right amount of people, and read the emails that are coming in from USI Tech, letting you know, quote unquote, we're almost done with the migrating of the two systems. Give us another 24 hours, please. If you just would have read that, you wouldn't have been sending in these emails and stuff of that nature. So I will say, I think USI Tech has handled the conversion over very well. I think it's bugs and little things like that anybody else will see. So I just wanted to get out of the way to let you know that's been my viewpoint the last few days. Has been coming, from that. I am still getting people to coming in from my YouTube videos I've done recently. But again, I was not promoting it. I was not getting out on Facebook and things of that nature to necessarily put that, But what I was doing is I was posting on my timeline, letting people know, this is the best place to, I found to get Bitcoin and things of that nature. So I will be touching up on a lot of different information um, that I think is going to help you understand USI Tech a little bit better. Uh, I would say, as far as USI Tech itself, you've got to understand Bitcoin first, y'all. When you come into USI Tech, it's not that it's going to increase the value of Bitcoin. I know some people that may don't know no better think that that's a possibility or something. I don't know what they're thinking. That's almost like saying I joined a business and it's going to make my dollar bill more valuable. It's the exact same mentality. Bitcoin is a currency. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a strong fluctuation. It's just a very moody market, and for people that love trading, it can be an incredible way to make money. But at the same time, USI Tech is not about increasing the value of Bitcoin. What it's doing is increasing the amount of Bitcoin you have. And I think that's one of the strongest things that people really need to get about USI Tech is the fact that you've got to understand Bitcoin right from the get-go. So a lot of people who are struggling at getting, your USI Tech business off the ground, I think one of the biggest issues you're having is maybe the market that you're hitting may not understand Bitcoin fully. They'll see it everywhere. They know it's a currency of some sort, but that's all they really get. So if you've ever noticed, almost any presentation, y'all, we've got an awesome sales funnel right here. 23-minute, 24-minute sales funnel, with a sales video right here at the very beginning. Out of all of it, there's only like 12 minutes even talking about USI Tech because it is really Bitcoin that is getting the spotlight. And once you understand that if you change your currency and to quit putting money into a bank that's not making you anything, it's not made to make thousands of dollars for you. It's not. If you have $1,000, you put it there, you're gonna have a little more than $1,000 in a year's time if you're lucky. Where here you're looking at a 600% increase, and then I'm just talking about Bitcoin right by itself. But the point is, let's say if you bought one whole Bitcoin, you've only still got 1.0 Bitcoin. You haven't increased the amount of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just increased the value itself. That's why USI Tech, really, you have to explain Bitcoin first so people can put their, wrap their head around it, kind of grasp what's going on with it. And then you go to USI Tech and explain to people how you buy in to, BTC packages or whatever you're purchasing it to. And when the value increases, or in their case, they're actually doing Forex trading, then they're trading your money that you've got in BTC that's been locked in, and you get 140%. Now, we're averaging about 1% a day. But to be perfectly honest, y'all, now think about it. This is the most of the market. Most people are building up Bitcoin and holding it. They're stacking it, right? So even though they're stacking at 1.0 Bitcoin, it's not increasing the amount you have. Here, you're looking at 140%. If I took the same amount of money I spent here and put it in USI Tech, what you're actually going to do, y'all, is over 140-day average, pretty close, 140 working days, you're looking at getting back 140%. Now, understand, this is the same amount that you locked in for here for BTC, for Bitcoin, right? So these BTC packages, you are going to get, instead of 1.0, you get 1.4 if you had one whole Bitcoin. you have 1.4, and all you did was purchase BTC packages and started pulling every day. And this isn't including sponsoring people either, right? So I think one of the biggest things people need to get is that USI Tech is really more about educating people than it is anything else. Because me coming from my perspective, 44-year-old man, my whole life I'm used to, my mind's been wrapped around a dollar bill. And, I remember back when I turned 17, 16, 17 years old, gas was 89 cents a gallon. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at the dollar itself and the value, and look at how the dollar has gone down. Dollars are based upon petroleum, they're based upon gold, and you got to look at Bitcoin as its own entity. So that makes that just changes the whole thing, y'all. Countries that have currency that is just going to crap, Bitcoin is the answer to these countries. So you really look at a bigger understanding as to what Bitcoin can do and how much it can change people's lives all around the world. And that's really when you start to really understand the banks don't have any tie to this. It's its own entity, so there's nothing else itself, and it's limited. So the answer to really Bitcoin growth is exposure. Okay. So with all that said, I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin any more specifically. I just wanted to let you know some kind of rundown that almost every kind of sales video you're going to have or anything like it, you've got to put your time focusing and explaining Bitcoin. Because if not, the older generation, people that's my age or older, they remember back when, shoot, man, it's like I said, gas was really cheap and things of that nature. And then they understand that the dollar has gone down. I know y'all have probably seen before where you'd see the shopping cart, right? And it showed if you spent $100 in 1970 and then 1980 and then 1990, and you keep seeing it get smaller and smaller and smaller. That's the value of the dollar going down. Where Bitcoin itself has increased 600% this year and has increased over 1,400% since 2015. So if you had $1,000 sitting in the bank, you'd still really have just pretty much $1,000, but it won't be able to purchase much. To be honest, you'd be purchasing less than you did years ago. But with Bitcoin, you've actually gone up $13,000, if not even more than that, because of the value itself going up. This thing is killing gold. Gold ain't got nothing on this for percentages, and that's absolutely incredible. So grasp your wrap your head around Bitcoin, and once you've got that, then you'll start to understand that forex trading Monday through Friday with a company that's been doing forex tradings for years and years and years, it starts to make a lot more sense. And that you're purchasing in with BTC packages, locking in that amount. The same amount could have went over here to this, y'all. I got that. And they're both going to go up no matter what. They're both going to go up at the same time. But this is going to get you more of the Bitcoin as opposed to just that same amount going up. Now, there are strategies inside of USI Tech that if you roll everything over for 140 days, you'll reach a 400% increase, just like this shows right here. And if you want to start pulling out the day that you reach that 400, you will actually get over a 300% increase total paid out. Now, if you left it alone and just let it keep churning over, it's going to keep on and on and on. It just becomes a huge snowball. So the strategies itself have a lot to do with the outcome and what you're making inside of this. One of the biggest factors inside USI Tech is going to be, are you going to just do the 140%? Which means that let's say you buy one Bitcoin right here, and every day that the percentages come out, you get about a 1% average. You put it in your pocket, and then when it's done, you'll have a 1.4, 140% increase. Are you going to go 70 days, 70 working days, and then you'll have a 200% increase, or some are really close to 200%, maybe even a little bit more, just based on that 1% a day. And what's going to happen then is, because you've been reselling it, then start pulling out portions, and then it keeps the snowball going. The third one's going to be going 140 days, getting a 300% increase. Now you understand, y'all. If I paid, $7,500 for Bitcoin, about where it's at right now, a 300% increase, even if Bitcoin didn't grow up, it's going to be 7, 14, 20, was it 21, 22, 5? Was that 22, $23,000 right there compared to that 7,000 right by itself. So if I was just going to wait 140 days and start pulling it out, then I'm looking at a 3.0 Bitcoin compared to that 1.0 that was sitting here. And if you were planning on stacking it in the first place, now it starts to make a lot more sense. None of this calculations are including sponsoring. So sponsoring is ridiculous. You got 12 levels down as a potential. The way you unlock is by the amount of people that you sponsor. If they reach 12 BTC packages. Now, the thing with BTC packages are they can purchase them directly or when they rebuy. Now, I started off with 10,400. I've gotten, I can show you this inside of USI Tech. Right here, if you can see the bottom right here, 79 is where I bought 79. I bought 89 more right here. And anytime that I've had rebuys right here, I've got 5, 5, 1, 1, 2, and stuff of that nature. That's because I'm rolling everything back into it. I'm rolling everything back into the business itself so that it'll get a chance to, grow and get that snowball as big as I can. Um, but let's say if one of my downline had bought, I don't know, $5,000, and every day he's getting to the point where he can start rolling his over the same way I have. Well, it doesn't take long to reach 12. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just rebuys added with it. So both together, once they reach 12, then that means that level is unlocked for me. Okay, so let me explain this for you. If I sponsored one person, that level's already unlocked. We get 10% growth. Okay, 10% of whatever they purchase, including the rebuys itself, 10%. So that can add up to be a lot of money. Now, because the first one's already given, to get level 2, I've got to find someone again that gets 12. And then when it does, it unlocks it. Not only does it only unlock it for that one person, it unlocks it for my entire grid, everything from all my level 2. Level 3, finding someone again that I personally sponsored that gets 12. And once they got 12 again, either by purchase or rebuy, my level 3 is open. So all my level of everybody, whoever I sponsored, how many I do, I don't know how many I personally sponsored that, but however many I've got, it opens up that whole level. Okay. And then the 4th, 5th, and it keeps going down all the way down to 12 levels. You get 10% on the first one. You get 3% on the next down to level 8. So all those are 3%. And then 9, 10, 11, 12 is based on 1%. Okay. So when you put all this together, it starts making a lot more sense. And the cool thing about the rebuy itself, I'm sorry, not only the rebuy, but the, this 12 levels down, is the fact that they had something else in play earlier, and people would sponsor just a couple of people, and then they lose incentive. This way, you really got a big incentive. If you're really out there sponsoring the heck out of people, you really want these people building their business because it unlocks all these levels across, and you want to really start seeing a lot of rebuying and a lot of people who are, that's coming into the business and purchasing down at 3 levels, 4 levels deep. It can really start a huge effect for you, and you start unlocking all these levels, and that alone could be worth an awful lot of money. If you sponsored me and I was 5 levels down and I come in with $10,400 rolling everything over, you realize that it's going to be a lot of money, for you if you had me down in that 5th level as already unlocked, because you're going to miss a lot of money just because of me alone. And I'm only one person. So that's really the way you got to start thinking about it. So strategically, this way helps the business grow all in all. Everybody. It gives you incentive to sponsor and get these people going active, where before it was called a 3x3 matrix. It was not quite like this. I think this way is a little bit, it's more simplified, and everybody gets the fact that, okay, all they got to do is sponsor 12 people, get 12 people to go 12 down. 12 BTC packages, either direct purchase or rebuys, and then that level is unlocked, and it would be across the board. So it does become, very variable. So I do like the fact that the 12 there stats are cool. It really lets you break down and see where you're at. There's like a family tree almost, so it starts to show you how everything falls into place. You get a chance to pop online. I'm sorry, you get to look over there and see your downline who's really working this thing. Had a guy come in and he sponsored about 6 or 7 real quick. So when I see something like that, looking at the tree, I can go on Facebook and congratulate these people for because they know I'm watching them and congratulating them coming in here, going active, buying, and then really start getting out to people. They're really trying to build their team. I think recognition really helps a lot. And I think if you're an upline, if you take the time to watch that, it can be really, so it's a really good way to motivate them and it'll make other people want to do the same. So there's always benefits, y'all. Anytime you go into a Facebook group, y'all, here's a little thing to help you out. You always want to uplift, proof, progress, welcome, and congratulate. If you base your entire day as far as when you're up there on your Facebook, on your timeline, if you base it upon those 5 things, you are going to become a beacon that everybody's watching. A lot of times you won't hear a whole lot, to be honest, y'all. You might have a couple of likes or this and that, but people are watching you all the time. The number one thing you can do in your business is be a beacon for that business, y'all. I'm gonna tell you. And your timeline on Facebook is a great way to do that. It is an absolute great way of doing it. Okay. Some negative I will post as far as this as well. Inside of USI Tech, on the top right of the page, we've got a way of buying debit and credit card directly into the system. With getting BTC packets, things of that nature. It's not the cheapest way. I've had a couple of people say they try to set up their phones, and which I realize this is all just being put in lately. So I'm talking days ago for me while I'm doing this video. So I will say it's probably going to get fixed. It's probably going to be just a bug, just getting worked out. I've seen them take it down and put it back up there. So, I know they're working on it. But at the same time, 5% seems to be the rate that you're going there. Now, if nobody else had a better way of getting in or something like that, or if you're just buying one or two or something small, maybe that 5% is worth it. But if you go spend $10,000+, 5% is really starting to eat you up. So I personally looked around. I say the easiest way to come into Bitcoin is going to be using, I say Coinbase, to be perfectly honest. So I came into Coinbase myself. Let me take a second here. I will show you Coinbase coming in. Surprising, I already have it up here. Okay, so Bitcoin went down a little bit. Cool, be a good time for people to be buying 7,200. Wow, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, you can see right here, October the 24th. I got some Bitcoin that came in October the 24th. I sent that Bitcoin out to USI Tech, and then I sent a little bit more. I was trying to figure out about how much it was going to be, and then I sent some more. So all in all, when it's all said and done, this is a little over $10,000 right here. But because of the fact that it was the Bitcoin itself had actually increased in value from the time I purchased it, I think I wound up sending out 10,400 total is what it actually come up to be. But Coinbase, y'all, is really user friendly. I'd say it's the number one way for people to come into buying Bitcoin. It also, what would you say? It allows you to do bank transfers, which is a 1.5%, which is an awesome way to buy, Bitcoin at a really extremely cheap rate. So I think this really got a lot to do with that as well. All right, y'all. Now I'm gonna talk about Tech Coin. Tech Coin is actually a coin that they brought into the cryptocurrency. Um, I am one of those people, I don't like to jump on anything without doing a lot of research on it first. Exact same thing I did with USI Tech. I actually contacted my sponsor who was making incredible income on it in the business. I asked him some questions. Of course, he answered what he could. And then I even reached out above him to a couple of more people because I wanted to hear, I want to see somebody who's actually seen the trading take place. I want to see somebody who's talked to the owners, reviewed the owners, and we happen to have somebody in our group that has actually done this, has actually flown there, spent a week with them, watching the trading and things of that nature. And so I really try to reach out to the right kind of people. If it's the CEO of a business, I will sometimes reach out to them, things of that nature. When Even though I believe in the company and I think USI Tech is very legit, I'm very comfortable with USI Tech. Just because they bring out a new product doesn't mean I'm going to jump on it right on day one. To be honest, I think that you need to understand what the coin's really about. in the cryptocurrency. How's everything working with it? It's something called a white paper, and you want to see it actually in the market itself before I really decide. As far as I'm concerned, that's still on the ground level. So what they did is they brought out some pre-sale for the members in USI Tech to purchase. Now, the whole week's, since I got in and started focusing on it, I focused directly at BTC packages. Now, I will tell you something a little unusual. Even though I've made really pretty good money with my downline purchasing and rebuying and things of that nature, so I'm starting to build my team up. Um, what really surprised me this week was I wound up making more money from Tech Coin for my downline purchasing than I did from the BTC packages for my downline. So a lot of people do have a tendency to jump in, right from the get go. I know the value itself is obviously going up. I've heard rumors that it's going to be 1 billion coins itself at the max, and after that you'll continue to grow. It's just there won't be any more coins, and that people can if you're going to get it, you'd have to get it from another person kind of thing. So I just haven't heard enough information about it yet for me to purchase it because I have downline that is purchasing. Some of them going, $400 or $500 commissions I'm getting. So I know they're spending $4,000 to $5,000 in the ballpark. I am getting free tokens, is what they're called, just because of their purchases itself. So I do have a small number of those, but it's not like because I jumped on board with it yet. But it is nice to see that it's grabbing enough attention that I'm actually, profiting from it. I made, I don't know, I think it was about $3,000 to $4,000 this week from Tech Coin alone from my downline. So again, it's one of those markets. Of course, I appreciate the money coming in like that, but at the same time, I have not invested into it yet because I'm waiting to see. And if everything goes great, great. I'm hoping it's going to get to the point to where when you make money from your BTC packages and it goes into your account, and then you decide if you want to rebuy it or not, that you will be able to purchase coin that way, or tokens is what they're called, and that would be really cool, I think, if we were able to do that. And so you get a chance to diversify your income inside. At this moment, unless anything's changed, since the last time I checked, we're actually just being able to buy it with BTC packages itself with rebuy, and not in the coins itself. Um, it is definitely something I hope is going to take off like crazy. One of the biggest benefits I think for having your own cryptocurrency is the fact that they get to brand against each other. And let me explain that. What it means is when you look on it on the actual, it shows the cryptocurrencies, and there's anything that has your name up there, it gets the chance to brand the company, right? So the company itself is getting recognition because it's its coin. At the exact same time, you've got the company that's branding itself, branding the coin as the same way. So one kind of feeds off the other. So it's that leveraging of one to the other of both markets that winds up making both grow. So do I see it negative? I don't. I really don't. Do I know if it's going to be a top runner in cryptocurrency? I can't tell you. I just don't know yet. There's 300. Last I said 330,000 that I heard of. Still growing at about 5,000 people a day, somewhere in the ballpark. So we're going to reach a million. We're going to reach 2 million people probably pretty quickly. The rate with it, increase. People love anything that's free. The more people educate themselves on Bitcoin, the more people's going to be start hearing USI Tech, and it's going to make a lot of sense to them. So I do see it growing. I don't know if it's going to be one of the top cryptocurrencies, to be perfectly honest. And I like to tell you the honest truth. I just don't know. But I will say this: any cryptocurrencies that come out and they try something different, no matter what their viewpoints are, how they build it, or whatever it is, we get to win all in all overall. And what I mean by that is because it's like it's exposing itself, it's showing itself. You learn what it's about, and if that coin makes it, as one of the handful at the very top, in the top 10 or whatever, then we learn what it's doing correctly. Why did it get that way? If that coin dies, let's say if it just goes flat, there's nothing there. Well, again, as a overall, we get to learn from it as well. So when any kind of cryptocurrencies come out, I think it's a really, don't matter what viewpoint, what perspective it is, we all learn from it. I think Bitcoin is leading the way. I think that a lot of cryptocurrencies are growing because of Bitcoin itself. When Bitcoin gets recognition, then people come into Bitcoin and then they realize there's Ethereum, it's Litecoin, it's goes right on down the list. Then what happens is it's going to trickle and make it go down. So Bitcoin itself is helping these cryptocurrencies. Also, something else I personally have noticed: when Bitcoin goes up, in general, the other coins seem to kind of drop down because people want to catch that ride. When Bitcoin makes a huge drop, I'm not talking about just a day, I'm talking about some fear mongering come on from some major CEO of a bank or something, and then you see it drop, or a country scare or whatever it does. What happens is when it drops, you start to notice the other cryptocurrencies go up. So it's almost like Bitcoin makes the ripples in the water by going up and down, and those ripples affect the other cryptocurrencies for the positive or the negative. So it just goes to show you that's what the big boat in the water is doing right now compared to the other things. I'm going to say overall that I would say USI Tech is extremely simple. If you understand Bitcoin, you understand that we're not, that all we're doing is increasing the amount of Bitcoin that we actually have by giving, the money into the businesses, BTC packages, or into the coins. Got another currency coming pretty soon, or not currency, but another way of making money. It's not quite out yet. Um, there is ATM machines, y'all. That's inside of USI Tech. It's going to be 3 million worldwide, where you actually go up to it with Bitcoin, and it has USI Tech up there. I've already seen a couple of pictures of that. That's pretty impressive. The live event we had recently had 1,500 people there. That's when the actual Tech Coin went live. They sold a bunch of Tech Coin on that very first day to those people. That was right there at the live event on those pre-sales and things of that nature. Um, the mining itself has gotten now to a point where is they call it zero. What do they call it? Zero energy. They're using magnets and using the heat from it. I mean, it's really a really cool technique. One of only four places in the world that's using this kind of technology, and they're using it for the mining itself. So there's a lot of really cool, interesting, new, innovative things coming inside USI Tech. I think anybody that hits the website right now, you feel the speed of the site. It was a lot better than it was 3 weeks ago for sure. 330,000 people did actually have an effect on the site itself. At about 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening time, it seemed to be about the most common time that they would, update the amount of income you had made from your 1% a day on your BTC packages. And not only that, your downline would get paid, and then so they'll, rebuy as well. So everything seemed to happen about the same time. And because of that, it really seemed to slow down the website because everybody going through it. So what it is, they put this on Amazon servers. This bad boy here is flying. I will tell you that. It seems to do very, very well. Um, I would say that it looked like the other day my money came in at a different time. So I don't know if they're going to be splitting that up to maybe take some of that stress off of that time point. That's something I was wondering about possibly that maybe they'd be doing. If they could, filter out and then make this part, this part, this part to keep people from all, cramming in at the exact same time. I think that might be a pretty cool way of taking stress off of that. All in all, it's a very simple business. USI Tech has got transparency written all over the new website itself. You get to see the actual trading itself, what's taking place. I think that the fact that it's free, it's really going to get you a lot of signups. The thing is, are you going to let them be more than just a sign up? And for that, I'm going to give you a couple of answers. The ones who are struggling to sponsor people, right? I can tell you your problem is they're not connecting with you. Okay. If you got a sales funnel where it doesn't have you talking about it, or if it doesn't have them meeting you prior, like in a YouTube video, and then go through the sales funnel or something like that, people haven't had a chance to connect with you. That's the problem. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that. If they knew you were a beacon for your business, see you in the Facebook groups, see you on your timeline, then they have somebody to work with. They've got somebody that believes in the business, and they can sense that, y'all. Someone is sitting on a fence, and see some, and while they're sitting on the fence, they're sitting there watching you. You're really excited. It makes a big difference. What people really want, y'all, when they're looking someone to get sponsored in, is someone who's being sincere, that believes in their business, and that is accessible. Those are really the three big things. And for you to become that person, you need to be sincere. You've got to apply a crap load of action, y'all. I'm gonna tell you that you've got to get out there and brand you into that business where people know you as the USI Tech guy. To be perfectly honest, you've got to be relentless at getting out there. And the ones who do that, y'all, the ones that believe in the business, it's not work. I know this is a pretty long video, probably the longest review video they've got, to be perfectly honest. But you know what? At the same time, I think people can sense that I believed in my business. You don't come into a business, spend $10,000+ in it, roll everything over, right from day one, pretty much from the time I started taking it active, before I even started sponsoring people, really, without believing in the business, without talking to the right kind of people, and then, making my decision and going from there. I think Bitcoin is on a heck of a drive. It's going to go up. I think by the latter part of November and December, it's going to be absolutely incredible. So I think now would be a perfect time for anybody to get in. One last thing I'll explain about BTC packages, y'all. It's real simple. Is whatever you come in at, it locks it into that. So if Bitcoin is actually going up, don't think that, oh, I need to wait for Bitcoin to get down to this price before I purchase my BTC packages. It's not like that, y'all. What it's actually doing is it's the increase itself. So if I have 0.37 Bitcoin, and Bitcoin sitting here and it rises, that's great. Just remember, I'm locking this in, so I get that 40% increase on that 0.37. It's going to give me more Bitcoin. And during that time frame, when this is growing, then I'll have more Bitcoin that I made more money. So even though we're talking a minimum of 140% increase, what Bitcoin does after could easily turn it into 200, 300%, just because if you add it all together, that you wouldn't have gotten while just sitting here. It would have been the same amount of Bitcoin. So, all right, y'all, if you are interested in signing up with us, we have got a freaking incredible, we use Power Lead Systems itself. Gives you the opportunity to make your own landing page, sales page, things of that nature, so people get a chance to directly connect with you. I like to use my own personality, kind of make everything fit. I make my own landing pages, sales pages, so people get a chance to connect with me in the landing page. And then because this has become such a beast of a Bitcoin making machine, basically for USI Tech sponsoring people, this sales funnel has actually sponsored over 10,000 people since June. It is absolutely incredible. So I've decided to use me in the landing page, make my content on YouTube particular, so people get a chance to connect with me before, and then when they're coming in, they're actually connecting with our downline, our upline, Jameson Palmer. It goes from here. You get to hear from me and some more of these leaders, Frank Calabro, some of these people you may notice in USI Tech. I suggest watching any of those videos you like, and then come down over here. And then Frank Calabro starts breaking everything down, showing you exactly how to purchase BTC packages, things of that nature. And it is very proven. He teaches you inside of here how to do paid traffic. So the ones who want to do paid advertising, he shows you exactly what he's doing. I myself, if you come into business with me, you can go to my YouTube channel, y'all, and you're going to learn that I do an awful lot of videos. I've been in online business for 3 years. I got free from a job. In the first 6 months, I got into online business. I ended a 26-year profession in restaurants. And so I learned by applying action that you learn a lot. And I like to convey that to my downline, to the people that's in my YouTube channel. And so I have gotten almost 1,000 videos. I'm not sure exactly how many. It might be up to 1,000 now. And if you go through here and watch this, you'll actually see that I've got a lot of the answers of practicing what I preach here. Follow-up emails, how to do, at 1,000 videos, you pretty much can find anything you want to find here. So coming through with me would be one of the benefits, is the fact that I do constantly make videos, and I do a lot of training as well at the same time. So y'all, if you're in USI Tech and you need the sales funnel we got, click down below and just go through, follow the directions, and once you're done, you will already have an awesome sales funnel. They start getting out to people. That is exactly how I sponsored, all these people right here in a very short period of time. That was not my list. Okay, just to let you know, I was a hardhead. Most of my downline had already gotten into USI Tech back when I signed up months and months ago, where I just didn't have my head wrapped around Bitcoin. So most of my downline has already took off. So what I'm doing now is, I'm just getting out there, getting seen, and sponsoring people that are, looking to come into the business just like anybody else would who found a business they believe in. Just open your mouth, get out and get seen, and it's going to grow the business. That's really it. If you need USI Tech and you have not signed up yet, go ahead and do that. Coinbase link is down below also, y'all. So you definitely want to connect that as well. One of the strong things about Coinbase is the percentages are really good. 1.5%, 4% if you are doing MasterCard and Visa, as opposed to that 5% that's sitting aside of there. You could definitely use either way that you'd like to do it. I think Coinbase would do fine. Plus, you get an extra $10 just for using the link down below in Bitcoin when you purchase $100, and you get your own link and then give it out to people, and you'll be able to get $10. Now, $10 of Bitcoin here and there, it adds up, y'all. You got to realize $10 a day, a year from now, it might be $50 just because you gave somebody a link, or something like that. So go ahead and go through, y'all. Sign up at minimum. It's free to do. You know that. Friend me on Facebook, and I look forward to seeing you in the Facebook groups. Appreciate it.